This is the first true wireless shotgun microphone that can record 32-bit float audio internally into the mic. This is the brand new Comica VM40, which again, like I said, can record 32-bit float audio inside the mic. Now the price point of this mic is going to be coming around $249, and what you're going to be receiving that is this little nifty carrying case, which has your normal cover for your microphone. You have a windscreen, a couple cables, USB-Cs, a couple different accessories. On the bottom of the pouch is going to be where the microphone is. This is where it will hold the microphone. You'll have your little receiver that's in here, the shock mount, and then also something to attach this to boom poles. Now, Comica also is offering another version of this where you can buy 2 wireless shotgun microphones and they'll both connect up to this one receiver, and that's coming around $399. Now, quick disclaimer, Comica did send me obviously this microphone to check out and review, but honestly, this is gonna be, I was pretty impressed. I do have some good things to say about this microphone with the 32-bit float audio, and I also have some not so great things to say about the wireless transmission, which this is like the most reasonable. I'll get on a little bit later in this video. Let's start off with the physical build of this microphone. It's an entire metal, high quality build. It actually feels pretty premium of a shotgun mic. So for the battery life of this, it does last around 10 hours wirelessly on the receiver and on the mic itself. But if you do have this mic directly plugged into camera, you can record up to 32 hours. And another quick little note on that, it is kind of nice when you plug the microphone directly into your camera, it automatically powers on. You don't have to turn it on, but when you want to connect this and the microphone and use it wirelessly, you do have to turn this and the microphone on to use it wirelessly. But it is nice if you directly plug it in, it's just going to turn on the mic, and then when you turn off your camera or unplug your microphone, it'll just automatically turn off. Now, 32-bit float recording. I'll try to explain this to the best of my abilities. I am not an audio technician by any means, but this is basically giving you the most flexibility for recording audio. So if you're in a really quiet environment and you're talking really quietly, you can adjust the volume, you can raise up your volume and to make it more normalized. But if you're talking really loud, you're able to bring those volumes back down, so you have a lot more flexibility when you're recording 32-bit float audio. Now, the cool part is this microphone itself has up to 32 gigabytes of storage, or aka 40 hours of record time for your audio. Now let's dive into how I actually end up using this microphone and get to some of the tests and features inside the product itself. First off, normally how I'm going to be using this is going to be like a shotgun microphone. I'm going to be recording 32-bit float audio directly out of scene, and then I'm going to sync the audio later up in post. But I do have a couple of examples to show you guys on how you can also use this as sort of a vlogging mic and different things like that. This is how I would typically set up this camera with the recording quality settings. So right now on my camera settings, it's at -12. Just to try to bring the noise floor as low as possible. And then on the microphone, it's at 0, which I'm seeing my levels that everything's in the green and yellow. I can probably slowly turn up this microphone a little bit, but I do have a limiter on my camera set, so I don't peak, and there's no chance of peaking with this camera. Now, again, I still can switch over to 32-bit float audio, but it just requires me to sync it in post later to kind of pit the audio together. Nextly is going to be the different modes that this microphone has. So they have the safety, they have mono, and stereo. So there's a feature called safety, which basically allows one channel to be at the normal volume while the second channel is going to be a little bit more quiet. So currently, as I'm seeing on my phone right now, one track is a little bit louder than the second one, but again, you can still record 32-bit audio and it will sound super crisp and clean. And then there's the gain knob. The gain knob is pretty nice to be able to control your gain on the microphone itself. But what's also cool is you can control the gain directly from this by just tapping the left button right here. And this allows you, for whatever reason, you have your gain at 10 on the gain knob on the mic. You can make your gain go a little bit lower when you're monitoring your audio to prevent peaking. Now, what I'm actually pretty impressed by is the low cut and high cut filters. So you're able to turn on a low cut, high cut, or both at the same time to kind of cut any of those frequencies. I was actually pretty impressed by the test results that I'm about to show you guys. So here are those. This is what it sounds like with the low cut filter talking directly into the microphone. Now the high cut filter, this is what the high cut filter sounds like. It should be cutting any high frequencies on this microphone, but then you can press it one more time, and this is a low cut and a high cut filter. And just by pressing this little button right here at the top, the record button, just tapping it, this changes all that. And then you can find that button, you can press it again, and then you can see all the lights turn off, but the red one is for the record indicator. This blue one down here just tells me that I'm synced up to this little transmitter and receiver right here. Now, the last part, which is going to be the most interesting part from my test and experience, is going to be the wireless test. So the audio definitely did not do as good as I expected. It actually did horrendously bad for a wireless shotgun microphone, especially if I turn around, the microphone probably got cut a little bit. Oh, that's cool. Come on. That's sick. Anyways, so this is the distance test. I'm not even like 20 feet away from the camera. So if it's cutting out now, that's a good expectation of how much this microphone might be getting cut out, and as you're watching this part of the video right now, you can see I'm just walking away, and the transmission cut a lot sooner than I personally expected. And then on this wide angle, you can see I'm 30, 40 feet away. There is a house next to me. There's some trees around me. So it's definitely not the most open field, but it was definitely still a line of sight. And I was pretty shocked on how quickly the wireless transmission cut out. So with all that said, basically, if you're transferring the footage and you just want to use the wireless transmission, as long as you're more in an interview setup and you're not trying to do this crazy thing, you can probably use the wireless transmission pretty confidently. However, in more aggressive scenarios or different things that can affect your frequencies, I would still honestly recommend just hitting record with the 32-bit float recording, so you can record all your audio internally in the mic, and then just use the wireless transmission system to sync it up in the beginning. So my final thoughts and kind of my conclusion, if I would actually recommend this, I guess to think about it, is there is a ton of other 32-bit float audio recording options out there. Rode has them, DJI has them. You can get things from Zoom or Tascam, I believe. So there's a ton of different options. However, there's no system that is going to be this affordable in a shotgun microphone. If you wanted to use the Rode systems, you would have to buy a whole nother shotgun microphone, attach it to the wireless system, and have some janky setup like that. Typically when I'm recording, I have this microphone right here, which is an Audio-Technica microphone. I have this little system. It's plugged into my Zoom F3 to get 32-bit float audio recording. And it's just a whole thing. I have to have this, I have to have this. I have my Zoom recorder. I have a USB to USB-C with a power bank to power my Zoom F3. So depending how I feel about all the test results, I probably can see myself easily using this microphone setup more and more in my personal and professional workflow. A couple quick other little bit of notes about this microphone specifically though. The first thing is the copy mode. I didn't mention this throughout the video, but the copying your files from your microphone to your computer is a little bit tedious. You have to press and hold the two buttons on top of the mic and then plug in a USB-C to USB-C, and then you can transfer all of your files over. Now, the quality of the audio though sounds pretty superb, and I'm actually pretty surprised myself, and I've found myself really enjoying it. However, there's two things that might be a deal breaker to you. The first one is when syncing the audio. If you do it manually, you'll have no problem whatsoever. But what I noticed every single time I sync this audio, it was a few milliseconds off syncing audio with other devices. But with this microphone specifically, it was always just a few milliseconds off on the sync, so I had to manually shift it over, and once I did that, the audio is perfectly fine. But the biggest deal killer that might make or break if you should purchase this microphone is the fact that there is a 1 hour limit to the 32-bit float audio recording. Now, what I mean by this is after an hour of recording, it'll stop recording, it'll wait a few seconds, and then it'll start recording again, which isn't the biggest deal in the world as long as the subject isn't talking. But when I put this in a 24 frames a second timeline, there was a 14 frame or half a second basically delay from the first track to the second track. So if they're able to firmware update this with the microphone having just true unlimited recording and not an hour limit and then starting a new track, I think that would just be superb And overall, I would highly recommend the microphone even more if they fix that one little thing. If you guys want to see the original review on the Comica VM40, you can check out that video right there. YouTube recommends, you might like this video right here. Until next week, guys, peace.